Hey guys, back with another Maplestory video here. This time, last video of 2024. Well, I guess this coming out first video of 2025, but no podcast this week. Didn't really have time to record, but was able to put together a final gear showcase, stats showcase, gear showcase, and then PRs across the board for end of 2024, start of 2025. I always like to look back whenever I do these podcasts to see what the beginning of the year looks like compared to, the end of the year. And I think it always gives me great perspective. So I'm going to do one for my Paladin and then do one on my Demon Slayer just to remind myself kind of as a gauge of how far the game has progressed in a year. Because last year when I did this video or something similar, it was insane to see what the damage was like, what the cap was like, how challenging bosses still were, like Damien and Lotus, and how easy it is now. But the PRs that you saw, what guild dungeon scores were like, what Culvert scores were like, it was just a completely different game. And now 8 trillion. My numbers are all off. There's 8. Starts with an 8 right there. That is just insane to see. And then we're going to go into Culvert. Culvert it's just wild to see what affects Culvert compared to what it used to. With this 3% ignore enemy defense event, scores are insane, right? Something like Boss Rush, with all the stats that we're getting now, Boss Rush is impacting my scores significantly. I think this run was no different than the week before, except I used Boss Rush and it went up 5,000 points, which is a lot. Maybe not percentage-wise, but still a lot of points in general, just how much the damage has increased. And now, it's most likely not capping all of our lines in Culvert. So, things like Boss Rush, like I said, make a difference. Things like physical damage jewels versus EXP, which used to be the best meta before. Now, percent stat jewels are better just for the extra damage. It's cool to see, even though the gameplay, the strategy hasn't changed in a year. Still stand in this corner, still just eat all cures and all these damages. The purple, and the reason why, if you haven't watched the Culvert video in a while, or don't know why we stand in this corner, is because of the purple orbs or the purple stun attacks don't trigger in this right corner. So we're really only all curing one attack. Yes, there's flames on here, but it's being able to stand there in DPS and not really get interrupted is the best way to min-max and get consistent damage, min-maxing, every week, every run. So that is why we do this, and you'll see the score here is pretty absurd. I haven't seen a Paladin with 100 mil plus cap, 105, 108 mil cap, but I'm assuming 126 is pretty high up there. I don't know how it compares to other classes. I've seen other classes 140, high 130s, but I think Paladins are probably up there. If I had like 10 mil more cap, I think I'd be pretty high as well, knowing how much cap affects Culvert scores. So pretty cool to see if I ever get there, to see the end game, and then Gloom. So again, the end game bosses here is going to be Gloom and then Will. And this is kind of I think it's our second run with this team. So we're still getting adjusted. We created it. We split up our teams to get more people clears. So there's still a lot of room for improvement overall in the team. Gloom is still the most challenging boss for us personally. I would say I'm more stressed out, call-outs, mechanics-wise, death toll-wise, compared to Will by a large margin. You're going to see kind of how easy Will has become for the same team, the same people. Basically, I think one person changes out from this Gloom team to Will, and the mechanics are significantly different. The lines or the lives remaining are significantly different. And So you'll see you're going through Petrify phase here. Again, if you don't know, blinking up, you see everyone's kind of blinking up. If they have other people are blinking up as well, it really does make a difference. Just not getting hit by anything on the ground or getting stunned or disoriented or whatever, confused by the Petrify mobs, the black mobs, and then rinse and repeat. Kind of nice thing is, people still have a hard time with blinking up and avoiding the orbs. It takes time and getting practice and kind of a little bit of luck as well. But that is usually the most challenging. But thank goodness this team actually has 2 paladins. So we were able to give 4 people got Synchro. And we had another Phantom on top of a Bishop. So we had a lot of support here. No time leap. And we figured that the extra single res from a Paladin or the Phantom actually was more beneficial than taking time leap there. And I think it worked out better for this team in particular. And you see I took off earlier. I took off Divine Echo off my pet. Really tried it out this run so that I could time it better. I think one of the issues before in previous runs was that I was not able to get my V3 paired up with Echo right away. So this just allowed me to control it better. I know a lot of people do this normally on most bosses, but I actually prefer to just let it ride because it is a 60-second cooldown, 60-second duration and a 2-minute cooldown. I just feel like in any boss, it's really hard to get that 60-second full uptime anyways, whether it's Will or Gloom or in Damien as well. There's always some sort of interruption. I would say 45 seconds, if you can get that window, is a huge win. But which is why I found that it's not really, it's kind of just more set it, forget it. I can focus on other things, do call outs. I can focus on mechanics and helping others as well. I just had it auto proc every 2 minutes. So this is the first time that I've done it. And actually, I did more DPS. My PR was much better when I just put it on my pet. And I think it may have been better in this run as well. You'll kind of see instances where I wish I had Divine Echo up and I wasn't able to synchro my partner in time because Echo was not up. But kind of part of the game, trial and error, practice new things to help the team get better and do better DPS. And I think it was like somehow survived there. Like I was all over the place, call outs and things like that. So Petrify here. Immediately blinking up. I think I end up using Synchro here? I think I do. I get stuck in the corner here and I can't really see if I'm stunned or anything. So I'm like taking all this damage, just trying to spam Synchro here because that's all I really have. And I unfortunately wasn't able to press Divine Echo, but kind of had to use it. I thought it'd be more important for me to survive with this team than to die in that corner. So was able to get it up, get my burst up here too, which is nice during the eye. So we got maximum kind of value DPS there. Not with defense match 4, but it's all right. And the team is actually looking pretty good. This team is comprised of people that I would say are, may not be totally qualified gear wise, but because we have kind of some few heavy hitters at the top, experienced players, we're able to compensate for people with lack of DPS or just lack of practice in the run as well. We have a few ults in here, and so it is a little bit more imbalanced as far as DPS, and the run could be faster if we had a more balanced team. But I think that's kind of the fun in it, right? Helping others clear, helping others get to do content, doing with them, and improving over time. Right? I think this was still our last run. I didn't showcase it because we played so bad, but I think it was like a 9-minute run. I think we ended up with 5 people remaining lives left, and here unfortunately you have to Synchro here because Petrified during eye is just going to be chaotic with the laser here. So bad timing there, but like I was saying, last run we were over 9 minutes struggling. Thought we were going to fail, and we somehow pulled down out. And so this run was, we're at 6.5 minutes. We're going to clear it at 7-minute mark. 2 minutes faster. And we still are kind of down to the wire with live. So a lot of room for improvement. I feel like 7 minutes, improving by 2 minutes for the team in general is a huge win, right? Imagine if we just survive a little bit better in some of the situations that are controllable, like dying to, tentacles here, the one shots and things like that, but kind of worked out perfectly. Able to get my V3 up here, burst, and finish it off. And Claire beat me. Insane. Didn't even know it at the time, but shout out to Claire, the number one hero in our server. And she's cranking. So she ended up beating me here. Good for her. Exciting little competition that we got going on. But overall, the team did much better. Even though we have one live remaining, like I said, PR of 2 minutes. We'll take it. Can't wait for next week to see how much we improve.